Our story starts with a group of Slavic tribes who banded together back in the 800s. They called themselves Kievan Rus, and they were ruled by a legendary leader named Prince Rurik and his descendants. Kievan Rus became super powerful, controlling a huge chunk of land from the Baltic Sea all the way down to the Black Sea. In 988 AD, something really important happened. Kievan Rus decided to follow Orthodox Christianity. This was a big deal because it shaped their culture and who they were as a people, connecting them closely with the Byzantine Empire. Kievan Rus was a bustling center of trade and culture, a bit like a bridge between Scandinavia and Byzantium, thanks to its many rivers. This was a time when art, literature, and architecture flourished. If you want to see how advanced they were, just look at the magnificent St. Sophia Cathedral in Kiev. But like all good things, Kievan Rus eventually weakened because of conflicts within and pressures from outside. Still, this period was super important because it set the stage for Russia to become a major force. It also showed how important Orthodox Christianity was and still is to Russian society. Even today, the legend of Kievan Rus is a big part of Russian history. Fast forward to the 1200s and things took a dramatic turn. Imagine a massive army of Mongols, led by the legendary but fierce Genghis Khan and his successors, sweeping across the land. This was no ordinary invasion, it was a cataclysmic event that would change Russia forever. The Mongols conquered Kievan Rus, shattering its unity and forcing the Russian principalities under their control for over 200 years. This period is known as the Tatar yoke. Life under the Mongols was harsh. They demanded heavy taxes and controlled much of the Russian government. But there's a twist in the story. The Mongols actually helped Moscow become more powerful. Moscow's location was strategic, and its princes were clever diplomats. They gained favor with the Mongols, which allowed them to become stronger and eventually become the most important Russian principality. The Mongol period left a lasting impact on Russia. It shaped its government, its society, and even how it interacted with the East. Think of Russia's strong central government, its vast size, and its unique blend of Slavic and Eastern cultures. You can see the Mongol influence everywhere. With ambitious leaders like Ivan Kalita and Dmitry Donskoy at the helm, Moscow started to assert its dominance over other Russian regions. This growing power reached its peak during the reign of Ivan III, also known as Ivan the Great. In 1480, Ivan the Great did something extraordinary. He finally freed Russia from the Mongols, ending centuries of foreign rule. But he didn't stop there. Ivan the Great expanded Moscow's territory and laid the groundwork for a strong, centralized Russian state. He even adopted the title of Tsar, which is like a Russian version of Caesar. This showed everyone that Moscow was the true heir to both Rome and Byzantium. He also made the double-headed eagle Russia's symbol, a sign of their imperial ambitions. Moscow's rise was a pivotal moment in Russian history. It marked the emergence of a mighty and unified power that would rule Eastern Europe for a very long time. The story of how Moscow transformed from a small principality into the heart of a massive empire is a testament to the ambition, cleverness, and resilience of its rulers. In 1613, after a period of chaos and uncertainty called the Time of Troubles, a new era began. Michael Romanov became the Tsar, starting a dynasty that would rule Russia for the next 300 years. The Romanovs oversaw a time of incredible expansion, positive changes, and a flourishing of culture. They turned Russia into a major European power. One of the most famous Romanovs was Peter the Great. He was determined to modernize Russia and implemented huge reforms. He built a brand new capital city, St. Petersburg, which became Russia's window to the Western world. He restructured the army, built a powerful navy, and transformed Russia into a major military force. Then came Catherine the Great, another remarkable Romanov ruler. She continued Peter's work, modernizing Russia and expanding its territory. Catherine also loved the arts and sciences, and under her rule Russia became an important center of European intellectual life. The Romanovs left a huge mark on Russia. They expanded its borders, modernized its government and military, and nurtured its culture. However, their reign also saw growing social unrest and political oppression, which eventually led to their downfall. Let's move on to the 1800s, a time when Imperial Russia was at the height of its power. Under Tsars Alexander I, Nicholas I and Alexander II, Russia became a major player in European politics. They defeated Napoleon's invasion in 1812 and played a key role in the Congress of Vienna, which redrew the map of Europe after the Napoleonic Wars. However, beneath the surface, tensions were brewing. The Crimean War from 1853 to 1856 showed that Russia's army and infrastructure were not as strong as everyone thought. Social unrest grew as the vast majority of peasants remained trapped in poverty and serfdom. When revolutionaries assassinated Alexander II in 1881, it was a turning point. His successor, Alexander III, responded with harsh repression. Despite some attempts at reform, the Russian Empire entered the 1900s facing huge challenges. Rapid industrialization, coupled with slow political change, created a dangerous mix. Russia's defeat in the Russo-Japanese War of 1904 to 1905 further exposed the weaknesses of the Tsarist regime and fueled public discontent. The year 1917 witnessed one of the most significant events in human history, the Russian Revolution. It all began with the February Revolution, triggered by food shortages and economic hardship. The people revolted, forcing Tsar Nicholas II to give up his throne, ending centuries of Romanov rule. A temporary government was put in place but couldn't solve the country's deep-rooted problems. Then, in October 1917, the Bolsheviks, a radical socialist group led by Vladimir Lenin, seized control in a bloodless revolution. They promised the exhausted Russian people peace, land, and bread. The Bolsheviks acted swiftly, establishing a one-party state and signing the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany, which meant Russia was out of World War I. The Russian Revolution was a dramatic break from the past. It resulted in the birth of the world's first socialist state and had a ripple effect on global politics, inspiring similar movements and shaping the course of the 20th century. The Bolsheviks' victory in the Russian Civil War, which lasted from 1917 to 1922, led to the creation of the Soviet Union in 1922. When Lenin died in 1924, a power struggle erupted, and Joseph Stalin emerged as the new leader. Stalin's rule was marked by extreme brutality, forced collectivization of agriculture, and rapid industrialization. Under Stalin, the Soviet Union experienced a period of immense change and upheaval. He implemented a series of 5-year plans to transform the Soviet Union into a powerful industrial and military force. However, his policies came at a terrible human cost, with millions dying from starvation, forced labor, and political purges. Despite the horrors of Stalinism, the Soviet Union played a crucial role in World War II. They endured the brunt of the Nazi war machine, ultimately playing a decisive role in the defeat of Nazi Germany. After the war, the Soviet Union became a global superpower, locked in a Cold War rivalry with the United States. The year 1991 marked the end of an era. The Soviet Union collapsed, ushering in a new chapter for Russia. Boris Yeltsin, the former Communist Party leader of Moscow, became the first president of the newly independent Russian Federation. Yeltsin introduced radical economic reforms known as shock therapy to transition Russia to a market economy. This shift to capitalism was a bumpy ride, leading to widespread economic hardship, social unrest, and political instability. To make matters worse, a small group of wealthy businessmen known as oligarchs took advantage of the privatization of state assets and amassed huge fortunes, further fueling public anger. Despite these challenges, Russia slowly began to recover from the turmoil of the 1990s. When Vladimir Putin succeeded Yeltsin in 2000, Russia entered a period of relative stability and economic growth, largely due to high oil prices. Today, Russia is a resurgent global power, determined to regain its influence on the world stage. Under Putin's leadership, Russia has adopted a more assertive foreign policy, intervening militarily in Georgia, Ukraine, and Syria. Relations with the West have become strained in recent years due to disagreements over Ukraine, Syria, and allegations of Russian interference in Western elections. Russia has also been strengthening ties with other countries, especially China. Despite its resurgence, Russia faces significant challenges including a stagnant economy, corruption, and a declining population. Nevertheless, it remains a major player on the global stage, and its actions will continue to shape the 21st century.